So what if everything you've been told about getting rich is just wrong? You know the drill. Go to school, get a good job, save up for 40 years, and then maybe you can retire. Well, today we're tearing that idea apart by diving into MJ DeMarco's The Millionaire Fastlane, a book that flips that whole philosophy on its head.
Okay, so the whole idea of the book really boils down to this one powerful image. DeMarco says there are two roads to wealth. There's the slow, winding, scenic route that almost everyone is on, and then there's a direct, high-speed highway, the fast lane.
And this brings up a huge question, one I want you to really think about for a second. Which one of these paths looks more like the one you're on right now? Your answer might be a little different by the time we're done here.
All right, let's get into the first big piece of this puzzle. The author calls it the Great Wealth Deception. And really, it's the story most of us have been sold our entire lives about how money works.
I mean, this script is probably ingrained in your brain, right? Study hard, get that safe, steady job, squirrel away a tiny piece of your paycheck, and then pray that compound interest works its magic over the next half-century. Sound familiar? Yeah, that's the get-rich-slow plan in a nutshell.
And you know, this quote from Marcus Aurelius, it just hits the nail on the head. It's the book's way of saying, hey, just because everybody is doing it doesn't make it smart. DeMarco basically argues it's a kind of insanity to trade the best years of your life for a pile of money you'll be too old and tired to enjoy.
So let's dig a little deeper. What's so fundamentally wrong with this path that everybody's on? Let's break down what he calls the trap of the slow lane.
And this is where it gets really stark. Look at the promise versus the reality. The promise is security, right? A safe job, a long-term plan. But the reality? Well, you're trading your most precious, non-renewable resource, your time, directly for dollars. Wealth is forever tied to the hours you can work, and when you finally get it, your youth is long gone.
And this all leads to a pretty chilling concept he calls lifestyle servitude. It's this state of being chained to your job, your bills, and a financial plan that's all about some far-off future, while your present life just slips away. It's a life of constantly deferred happiness.
Okay, so if the slow lane is a trap, what's the way out? Well, this is where DeMarco introduces his alternative, and it all starts with his own story.
See, this guy wasn't some trust fund kid. He started out working dead-end jobs, feeling totally trapped and miserable. He even tried starting businesses, and they failed. But the one thing he didn't do was just accept that the slow lane was his only option.
And then he had what he calls his Lamborghini moment. He saw a young guy, not an old man, a young guy, driving his absolute dream car. And it turned out the guy was an inventor. That one single moment just shattered his whole belief system. It was proof that another way was actually possible. And this was the big aha moment, right? He realized that getting seriously wealthy wasn't just reserved for rock stars or pro athletes. It could be built by regular people who figured out how to solve problems for other regular people. It wasn't about talent. It was about strategy. So here's how he put that into action. First, he spotted a real need, a gap in the market for limousine services. Then, instead of just working harder, he built a system, a website that could generate income from traffic, basically on autopilot. And finally, that system became so valuable that he was able to sell the company and walk away a multimillionaire before he was even 33.
So how can you actually do something like this? It's not about getting lucky. It's a very specific philosophy with clear rules. Let's get into how the fast lane really works. Okay, this is the fundamental shift in thinking you have to make. Slow laners are consumers. They buy stuff, they watch stuff, they use services. Fast laners, they're producers. They're the ones creating the things that everyone else consumes. And the whole point of this, the end game, is to completely break the connection between your time and your money. The goal was to build a business, a system, what he calls a money tree, that works for you around the clock, whether you're at your desk or on a beach.
Now, to build one of these money trees, DeMarco lays out these 5 commandments. They're like a filter for any business idea. First up is control. You have to own it. You have to be in the driver's seat. Next is entry. The barrier to entry can't be super low. If anyone can start your business in an afternoon with $50, you're going to have a bad time. Third, need. Your business has to solve a real problem people have. It's not about your passion, it's about their pain point. Number 4 is time. Your business has to be able to detach from your time. Can it make money while you're sleeping? And finally, scale. It's got to have the potential to get big. Can you serve millions? Or are you stuck serving just a handful of people?
Okay, so we've looked at the lie, we've looked at the trap, and we've looked at the alternative.
Let's wrap this up by bringing it all back to you and what this means for your own journey.
I want you to really let this quote sink in. Becoming a millionaire isn't some magical one-time event like winning the lottery. It's forged. It's built piece by piece through a deliberate process of learning, trying, failing, and executing day in and day out.
So just think of it like that road trip metaphor from the beginning. The Fastlane philosophy, that's your map. Your business idea, that's your car. But here's the thing, no one can drive it for you. You have to get behind the wheel, take full responsibility, and step on the gas.
So the real question here isn't, is this possible? The real question is, what are you going to do about it? Don't wait for some big event. What's one small process? Learning a new skill, researching a problem, sketching out an idea. What's the one thing you can start today to begin forging your own path?